Okay, here we go. Look at O'Neill sleeping on his back. Load up, load up, load up. Come on now. Ain't got all day. Okay, nice. We are in business. Yes. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Oh, it's just fabulous. Fabulous. Look at O'Neill. What's he up to? Oh, God. Welcome. Welcome. Hello to you all. We are beginning right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yes. And now,
here's a guy who has to have a pork chop tied around his neck to get the dogs to play with him.
Dude, keep your mouth shut if you knew it was good for you, buddy.
It's the Eric Zane Show podcast with your host, Eric Zane.
Thank you, Johnny. Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast. The name of that music, the name of that song is called Bold. Are you bold? I know you're bold if you're listening to this show. Thank you so much for being part of it. The Eric Zane Show Patreon bonus podcast. We're doing it free today. To see if you like it. And it's important because if you like it, you sign up and then you can be part of Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. What is that? Well, that's when I get the world famous Throat/Dale in here, who I just posted another interview with him on the freebie. It's always great having him in. And, when we play the game, he sits down here and then I Skype you in. We're looking at you, you're looking at us, and then we play the game that you fell in love with. Well, that used to be Dumber Than Zane Trivia, but this is a little bit different than that because it's Dale, and I'm the game master. Notice I enunciated game there because all you stupid second graders sit there and say, you said game master. Shut up. So you got to be on Patreon to play Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer. Should I say former drug dealer or convicted drug dealer? I think convicted drug dealer is worse because it's bad because it makes it seem, at least when it's former drug dealer, it indicates that he's taken a new, path in life, which he has. So that's great. So that's what we'll call it. Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. Please check out Dale's latest interview. We had a great time. But the game is only going to be open to Patreon members. It's only going to be, I'm only going to post it on Patreon. It's a Patreon exclusive thing, and it's perfect because at first I had the idea of doing the game, and I was like, I'll just throw it up on the free pot. I'm like, no. You have a perfect opportunity with a bit that they can't access. Not that they're bad. I want to make it something extra special for Patreon people because, honestly, there's not a lot of difference between, at least right now, between the Patreon and the freebie. You get more content, yes, but I want to start to really kick this in the pants, and that bit is the way we're going to do it. The only people that can play Dale are Patreon subscribers. I have 2 or 3 right now who have reached out with their Skype usernames. The game, I haven't yet set a date when I'm going to do the first one. I'm kind of waiting for the dust to settle on this very, very hectic week. But what you need to do, all you need to do, is go download the Skype app and then create an account. And when you have that account, you create a username. All I need from you is that username. And so right now I only have like 2 or 3 people, Patreon members, who are in the running to play Dale in Smarter Than a Former Drug Dealer Trivia. I'll draw out a name. I'll connect on Skype. You're on the show microphone quality, not phone. And you get to see us. We get to see you, and you play for a cash prize of $1. That's right, $1 cash prize. If you win, you earn $1. If you lose, it rolls over to the next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about it. Let's see what we got here on YouTube. I like interacting with people on this. Brett is there. John, the writer and performer of Bold. Brett in here, as I just said. Threads Podcast enjoying this. Oh, my God. It's Jason from Threads Podcast. All right, buddy. Hope you're all doing great. Nice to have you along. Let's start out with this story. It is, it isn't often that we sit around and talk about rugby, but, I'm starting to think that rugby might be better than football. First of all, the players, I think there's on display less assholism from rugby players. The game appears to be incredibly tougher than American football. They get hit just as hard. They're more liberal with how you can bring somebody down, and they don't wear any pads. And there's not really too many breakages in the play. It's as you're moving as much in rugby as you are in like soccer, except you can rip each other's head off. This is where Myles Garrett can go when his football career dries up. He can act like an idiot in rugby, and they'll be like, "You're great. Come on in." What you got here is an old-timer rugby player. He hasn't played much this year. His name is John Marler. He plays for the Harlequins. And he's been out with injury, discussing his team's disappointing loss to Clermont Auvergne in the European Cup and how he's looking for his team to rebound, against Bath. During this interview, things took a weird turn and hilarious because this guy started to speak anecdotally about the rugby team and a horse. Okay. The guy doing the interview with him knows he's being hilarious and kind of just lets him go. Check this out.
I wasn't hurting as much as the lads who are out there, but I definitely felt it, and I know how hard the boys have taken that. Be disappointed with the account that we put out, but we've got another week to get back on the horse, and take that horse to the water, and you can ask that horse. You can say, "Hey, horsey, do you want to have a drink, or do you want to swim?" Yeah, and it's up to that horse to then realise what he wants to do in his life. And that horse at the moment wants to go out on Saturday. He wants to clippity-clop all the way to the stoop. And he wants to say hello to those fans. And he goes, "I'm sorry about the result last week, but I'm going to give a better performance here at home against Bath." He's a slightly Irish horse. So we're looking forward to, like I say, getting back on that horse.
And are you looking forward to getting back on the horse 6 months since you last saw you?
I don't like horses. I can't ride.
All right, so this guy is a classic. He's like the Joe Hicketts of rugby. A couple things to point out. I'm always charmed by the accent. I love how water, when you're speaking the Queens, is water. I love how Saturday is Saturday. And I love how getting is getting. It's fantastic. So I just love that. I want to share it with you. Story locally about a sweet old lady who is turning 100 years old, like right now. And the Channel 8 went and did an interview with her. And when I saw that, oh, great, here we go. This is another opportunity to play the interview, and that it's going to be at the old folks' home, and the person who's 100 is going to be barely comatose, as it always is, and there's going to be family members gathered around the guy or girl, And he's the person who's having the birthday, the 100-year-old, isn't even going to know who these great grandkids are, and he's just going to want to go back to the room and sit in his diaper. And there's the inflatable happy birthday over him, and it's just a mess. And then there's the cake. He can't eat any of it because if he has anything other than water or rice, his heart will explode. It's going to be really sad. They're going to ask him the key to long life, and he's going to go. And it's everybody's going to go, oh, he looks so good for 100. Oh, but he really doesn't. Drool coming out of his mouth, boogers, the whole thing. His clothes don't fit. He looks like hell. And yet, they no dignity for the man as they put a camera in front of him, and he looks like an asshole, and everybody's like having a good old time because Grandpa Othello turned 100 years old. That's what I thought I was going to get here when I saw this person turning 100 story. In this case, it's a lady, so I'm winding up the tried and true old person jokes in my head, and I'm going to go down this road yet again. However, excuse me, I started watching the video, and they kind of referenced it. Tom Hillen and I forget the other young lady's name, the other anchor's name. Tom Hillen, the guy, and some young lady on Wood TV8, and they throw it over to Lindsay McCormick, and they seem really like, wow, man, this is going to be wait till you see this. And so they kind of tipped me off that something was coming. But let me just tell you, when they put the camera on her, I was like, she's actually pretty. No, not pretty for 100. She's pretty. She is so amazingly preserved. It seems insane. I wouldn't put her one day over 65. I'm not kidding you. And we're talking, her hair is immaculate. Her skin, I couldn't believe the skin. My face looks weathered as hell compared to this lady. It's like porcelain. And she's dressed really excellently, and she's sitting in this home. Not an old folks home. Her house looks like she's got money. Man, holy crap. I am guessing that the family members have to beat the guys away, have to beat them right off to keep them from banging on the door of this super rich, hot, dare I say hot, 100-year-old lady. Her birthday is this weekend. You got to check this story out. Now, since this is a free version of the Patreon bonus, in the comments, make sure on the description of this story when I get done with this podcast, you click on it to see for yourself. The folks at Wood TV8 are just blown away at this 100-year-old babe. Check it out.
In our community celebrate big milestones. This morning is one of those days, but we're taking some notes on this one.
I think we need to take notes. We have News 8's Lindsay McCormick.
Normally we just shrug at how old and decrepit the people are.
News 8's Lindsay McCormick here. She talked with a woman from Grand Rapids celebrating her centennial this weekend.
That is right. Helen McCall turns 100 years old tomorrow. She's seen a lot since 1919. And if you meet her, it's obvious that she remembers most of it.
1919.
They call on me, I will answer. And I will be with them in trouble. I will rescue and honor them.
This is how Helen McCall...
She's reading the Bible.
And honor them.
This is how Helen McCall starts each day, reading from her Bible. And it's almost every day she's asked, what's your secret?
I always say, the joy of the Lord. That's my answer. And if they understand that, they say, praise the Lord. If they don't understand it, they just kind of back up a little bit and congratulate.
Oh, yeah, she gets in their head.
And congratulate me. But it is the joy of the Lord.
Helen has lived through the stories written in history books and can remember them like yesterday.
Yes, I was with a friend and we were downtown having dinner.
Talking about the end of World War II. She was like 26.
Dinner. And we were about halfway through when they made the announcement on the radio in the restaurant that the war was finally ending. It had ended.
General Eisenhower informs me that the forces of Germany have surrendered to the United Nations. The flags of freedom fly all over Europe.
And we just left the rest of our dinner, and we said, we've got to go home.
And then we ran out in the street and said, no, let's go drop some bombs on those Japs.
And we said, we've got to go home. We've got to get home. We left the restaurant, and you could hardly get through the streets. Everybody was coming out of the little stores and the restaurants and dancing in the street. And I had to wait for a bus to take me home to Burton Heights. I was downtown. And I'll never forget that day, but it took forever to get home.
That was back when white people lived there.
It took forever to get home.
Part of the hurry to get home may have had something to do with her fiance at the time, Sam, serving 3.5 years overseas during World War II. They were married December 8th, 1945, just a few weeks after he returned home.
I had to get it all together before that,
What you talking about?
All together before that,
Yeah.
And I didn't want to get it too soon. I didn't know if
What is she referring to there about getting it ready for Sam?
know if he was coming home.
Various salves and ointments and firming agents had.
I thought, what if he
I better stop this.
meets an English girl over there? and I get a Dear John letter.
Their wedding photos show Helen was his one and only. 4 kids, 12 grandkids, and now 23 great-grandkids later. Her 100th birthday party will be the first time she's meeting some of the youngest members of her family. Loved ones are traveling in from Georgia and Oklahoma, so while she usually relies on Facebook to keep up,
they like show her like thumbing through her iPad. I mean, this lady is, she's like way awesome. The fact that 100 years and she's as cool as she is and a freaking knockout.
Is on Facebook to keep up.
Happy birthday.
The iPad will not be necessary on Saturday.
This is probably what
they're like showing stock footage of her like thumbing through it. I wouldn't be surprised if she hits a home screen and it says like Tinder.
Probably what keeps me young is having all these youngsters.
Oh, you see?
And to think that I'm able to see my new grandchildren that are coming.
Everybody knows she's on Tinder.
Coming at this stage.
As for what's next on her
what do you think the oldest person in the world is who's on Tinder? It's probably her.
Her schedule, she says she will be in church Sunday morning.
Oh, yeah.
God gets all the glory.
All right. Now they go back to the studio and they're just blown away at how much of a babe this lady is. 100 years old.
Now, as for skincare, that's the big question. She uses creams and an Avon serum. She also does her makeup most days.
Is that what she's calling it? An Avon serum?
Most days, as you can see, she's just gorgeous. She no longer drives, but still gets her hair done every single week and says her kids are her new set of wheels to get her to her appointment.
That's exactly how it should be.
And I should have asked for a birth certificate. I'm looking back, and that was a lapse in my judgment completely.
She looks amazing.
Yeah, I'm serious. Yeah, she's right. I would say, yeah, you're going to have to prove that because this is ridiculous. You're going to be like 160 when you finally kick the bucket.
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
She's incredible.
And to be turning 100 years old and give you that sound of mind still to be able to recall.
Normally eating their shit.
Able to recall that I'm just, I'm in awe.
She said one of her earliest memories, she thinks she was about 5 years old, which is just incredible.
Yeah.
I don't remember middle school.
Well, congratulations to her and happy birthday from all of us here at Team Daybreak. That's awesome. Great story.
Oh yeah, she's spectacular. As soon as the story started, again, I went into this thing with like, oh great, we're gonna have another guy I can make fun of because he can't, all he wants to do is get back to his room and get away from the family. And here she is. Wow, man, really, really great. All right, I'm kind of torn on this next story because I actually like Elon Musk. He gets a lot of crap because he's half crazy. But I hate the idea of autonomous vehicles. But I love the fact that he's like an inventor with a lot of money and desire to make things great for us. I like the electric vehicle concept to some degree. Autonomous vehicles, I don't like. And his vehicles, a lot of them, that's the direction that it's going these days. And I'm going to go kicking and screaming throughout all of that. And then just the other day, yesterday, he revealed that Tesla is entering the pickup truck market. Now, in the United States, this is going to be very, very difficult. First of all, it's a 100% electric vehicle. And I forget what he calls it. I just call it the shit truck because that's what it looks like. It is god awful. In fact, when I thought, did you hear me? When I thought, it's not like Michael Strahan. When I saw it, I thought it was a joke. It's got all these very boxy, straight angles and weirdo. There's no curves on it. It looks like a stealth vehicle. Some of you who have horrible taste will think it looks cool, and it doesn't. It looks like shit. And he claims it can go 500 miles on a charge, which is great. Okay, and it's ultra powerful. Now, in the United States, pickup trucks are king. You know, you look at the Fords, the Chevys, Dodges, and what they do with those, either as work trucks or pulling a fifth wheel or whatever you may be pulling, a travel trailer. You're going to need a lot of torque to get that done. Can an what do you call it? An electric vehicle pull something like that? I don't know. They didn't really talk to the payload of it, but it looks like hell. And not only that, but he unveils it and he brings it out, and all these people are losing their mind. And then he says it's indestructible, and he gets out a sledgehammer and he bashes it as hard as he can onto the side of the vehicle where the metal or whatever it is, or the fiberglass. I have no idea what this vehicle is made of, and it doesn't even make a scratch. So that's pretty cool. Then he brings somebody out to test the glass. And he goes, I want you all to know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Elon Musk. The glass is indestructible. It is bulletproof. Now, first of all, who the hell needs that? Unless you're like driving around in like a war zone. Why do we need bulletproof glass? Seriously? And some dude comes out and he's got like almost like a shot put, a metal ball. And the guy throws it at the window and it explodes. The window breaks and Musk goes, what? And he can't believe it. He goes, well, all right, do it again. And there's another window and the guy throws it and he breaks that one too. So Musk goes, well, I guess we're back to the drawing board. How could you have done that? How could you be that screwed up? Is that the first time you've tested the glass? Or is he crazy like a fox? Did he know that it doesn't matter that the glass broke? Because as people are going to talk about it, like me or whoever, big shows, and then they're going to see this shit show truck. I don't care either way because the thing is so ugly and so bad, it is ridiculous.
So I present to you the Cybertruck.
Cybertruck.
Overnight, a flashy rollout. Elon Musk introducing his highly anticipated all-electric pickup.
And but this thing looks so dumb. If you drove that around here in West Michigan, you would get your ass kicked. If any of the normal guys who drive trucks see that, they would box you in the road, yank you out of your Cybertruck like Reginald Denny in the LA riots, and make you humble right there on the street. Seriously, don't do it.
But the futuristic-looking Cybertruck falling flat with some. Criticism online quickly shifting into high gear. One user tweeting, the Cybertruck is the worst-looking vehicle I've ever seen. Ever. And I will not drive a Triangle even if it's all electric. While touting the truck's toughness, the unveiling took an unexpected turn.
Oh my God.
There it is, it broke it.
During a demo of its supposedly shatterproof windows, an epic fail, not once, but twice.
Did it again.
Try that on, really? Okay. Sure.
It explodes.
The botched announcement is just the latest in a series of potholes for Tesla.
It's okay.
All right, now they're showing clips of his vehicles doing what they're supposed to do, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're running into things, and they're showing a certain feature where, and they'll talk about it. I don't want to steal the thunder.
Potholes for Tesla.
It's okay.
Last month, the rollout of the company's Smart Summon feature, which allows users to summon their driverless cars from a short distance, ran into a few problems. Tesla says that's because people were not following the recommended guidelines.
Okay, so I didn't even know this. There's a feature where you can take your phone and press, like, you remember Knight Rider? Kit, come here. and you hit the button, and then it's supposed to start up and drive to where you are. That sounds cool. But they're showing all this footage of it leaving the garage, and it cuts the turn wrong and just scrapes up the side of the thing, goes rolling through an intersection, doesn't even stop. People are bashing into it. It's terrible.
The recommended guidelines.
Oh my God.
And last year, after a number of deadly crashes,
Yeah, you see?
the NTSB launched an investigation into potential safety issues with the Tesla autopilot software.
All right.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration also taking a close look at potential battery issues that could be to blame for non-crash related fires in some Teslas. In both cases, Tesla has promised to work with authorities to investigate. Still, Musk promises the Cybertruck will not only be powerful, it will also have a range of up to 500 miles on a single charge. And with a competitive $39,000 starting price tag, Tesla is aiming at loyal pickup truck owners looking to go electric.
It's going to have to make sure the Cybertruck is so different, so revolutionary that the person who is driving an F-Series or a Chevy Silverado will say, maybe I'll give this a shot.
You're crazy.
So after 6 years of development, Tesla's truck may face an uphill battle to break through.
Just stop.
Room for improvement.
He goes, there's room for improvement after the window broke. There's no way anybody is going to trade in a Ford or a Chevy truck, F-150 or a Silverado, for that shit show. Reason number one, you don't have the ability to roll coal. All right? You get a diesel pickup, and what you're supposed to do is when you don't like somebody, you get next to them, and then you stomp on the gas, and all that black shit goes flying out onto the car and in the window. You know, what you do is you look for a Prius driver or somebody driving a Civic hybrid like me, and he's driving down. You know, I'm driving down the road with my 50 miles an hour, and then it's a rite of passage, and I embrace it. I intentionally drive down the road, down Baldwin with the window open, in hopes of being next to a Silverado diesel truck owner to roll coal into the window of my car. And, I mean, let's be honest here. If you don't have the ability to roll coal, you are not going to appeal to the MAGA hat. Excuse me, I got choked up on my own joke. MAGA hat wearing shit kicker who wants to do that. I mean, can you imagine a set of truck nuts on your Cybertruck? Oh, how about if you're driving around Dorr, Michigan, where, I mean, these are some of the toughest people on the planet, and you roll up to one of the bars there in your Cybertruck? They're going to run outside and meet you by that thing and beat you to a pulp, throw you back in the driver's seat, put it in drive, and roll it down a hill until it erupts into flames. This is seriously a problem. So what a terrible, terrible mistake. I predict 0 sales, actual 0 sales for the Cybertruck when they get the window issue figured out. My God, this is a terrible idea. All right, that's it. I appreciate you checking out the Freebie Podcast. As always, you can follow the show on Twitter at Eric Zane Show and Facebook.com/Eric Zane fan page. And as always, the free podcast is available at EricZaneShow.com. Another week in the books. Please patronize the sponsors. Thank you so much for checking out the freebie. If you think it's worth it, throw me $5 for a month or two. That really, really helps. I appreciate your time. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll talk to you down the road.